Welcome everybody, this is Legionnaire. Welcome to the video. Today we're talking about Xbox, what's going on with their exclusivity, what are they doing with their games, coming out on PlayStation, coming out on Nintendo Switch. Phil Spencer had a few interviews lately, one of which was with Destin Legarie, who was formerly of IGN until recently decided to go out on his own. And Phil had some interesting things to say about Xbox and why they're going to other platforms, what their strategy is. So let's get into it. Let's see what Phil Spencer says about the future of Xbox. Spencer spoke to Destin Legarie. They had a little session together. There's a video. Check out Destin's channel. Watch the video over there if you're curious about the entire interview. We are specifically talking about the question of why Xbox is putting their games on the rival platform, PlayStation, most importantly. Because up until now, they've already had games on Switch. They already have games on PlayStation. But it seems like right now it's coming to a boiling point, because before it was more older games. You had Sea of Thieves, Minecraft, Cuphead, couple of their smaller lineup, and maybe AA games, and even some bigger classic games. Of course, most importantly, I think this came up, something that was inevitable because of the companies that they bought. I'm sure one of the big things that people worried about when being bought by Xbox, specifically Bethesda and Activision Blizzard, is, we make a lot of money on PlayStation. We make a lot of money on Nintendo. Giving that up is a large source of revenue for them. Now they're owned by Xbox now. And of course, whatever Xbox says goes. But I'm sure that was something that was brought up when these companies were being bought. And specifically Activision Blizzard, when it comes to Call of Duty, PlayStation was very, very against them being bought because of how much money Call of Duty brings in on every platform. So, it's like throwing money away. There's no reason Xbox has, started to let some of their games be more multi-platform. So in the interview, Destin Legarie asked him, is Xbox going multi-platform?
Are all Xbox games going to PlayStation someday, or will there still be exclusives? How are those red lines looking these days?
The red line, just to be clear, was of me responding to an answer. I sometimes gets positioned if I kind of ran out with a red lines t-shirt on. We are finding that our games shipping on multiple platforms is a good thing for Xbox. It makes Xbox stronger. It lets us do shows like we did with Showcase with great games, give our game time teams the time they need for us to invest in platform, for us to invest in hardware. I think all of this is part of what Xbox is going to be when we go forward.
Phil Spencer's answer kind of comes off like, he's just laying it straight down. He's like, the future is multi-platform. We're committed to letting people play our games on all platforms. It's the strategy they've been going with for a while now, and something they've been building up because of Game Pass. Game Pass is their big push. It's their big thing. It's the one thing this generation and the last that really worked. And he basically says that that's the way it is. That's the way it's going to be. We're going to try this out, and we'll just have to see how it goes. Now, listening to Phil here, he's definitely come under fire from a lot of fans about this move to push their biggest games, not just their minor games or their AA games, their biggest games on PlayStation. Stuff like Indiana Jones was just coming, potential Starfield, potential Halo MCC. These are their flagship games. These are the games that people buy Xboxes for. And, he seems to understand that, because, he's trying to explain it in a way that's just like, we have to expand. We need to get bigger. Xbox is a growing platform, and we're gonna grow as much as we can, and that means going to other platforms. They spend years trying to dig out of that Xbox One hole. That Xbox One disaster, just like Phil said previously, that was the worst generation to lose. And the explanation is sound, right? Because I believe he says Xbox One was the generation where people were able to keep their libraries moving forward. So whatever console you had during that generation, be it Xbox One or PlayStation 4, your library moved with you, most of it, to the next console. Xbox specifically, all of them almost, and PlayStation, most of their games. PlayStation 4 on PS5. And this has made it that people stick with those consoles. So it's really hard to rip people away from PlayStation to buy an Xbox. And let's be fair here. PlayStation, especially during the Xbox One era and the PS4 era, was pumping out amazing games. This was before their formula became stale, became rigid, and people just got too used to it. Right now, they need to change it up. Sony's working on new things. Xbox finally seeing some of the results of those purchases they've made over the last 5 or 6 years. Indiana Jones is coming out. People like it. Some of the other games have come out and haven't been so great, but Xbox is pulling in the money from Game Pass, and they're letting their games be on other consoles. It is inevitable. This is just what has to happen. Xbox has to grow. Console market's not growing for us that much. It's actually losing us money, but we need to grow our business. So we're going to be on all platforms. Most of the big games are going to be on all platforms. And I understand. I'm not allied to any one console anymore. You know, growing up, I was mostly a PlayStation household, and then I got into Halo, and I had a Xbox original, and I had a Xbox 360, and from then on I was mostly Xbox with the PS3 for specific things like God of War and certain games. But these days, you know, I play games to play games, and it doesn't matter the console that it's on. You know, I try to get all the consoles. I'm not rich. So you know, to me it doesn't matter. You know, if an Xbox game is on PlayStation, that's cool. More people get to play it. If Halo MCC comes to PlayStation 5, the community will grow big time, and Halo needs that boost, you know, especially leading into their next big game. So I get it. My only caveat is I think I prefer the exclusivity window. People are not mentioning that as much. There is exclusivity windows. So, for example, Indiana Jones has like a 6-month exclusivity window. I think that's a good compromise. For me, that's a good compromise. I think having a 6-month window makes it so that if the game is top of the line, one of the best of the generation, better than even some of the PlayStation games that have come out in the last 10 years, and people are like, I have to play this. I have to. Having that 6-month window makes it so that having an Xbox is still worth it for those that want to be there from the beginning. For certain games, you know? Call of Duty's always going to come out day one on everything. But stuff like Halo, stuff like Gears of War E-Day, you know, Indiana Jones, Starfield, these games will be exclusive to Xbox for a short time. And it will benefit those who have the console. So that's where the benefit really comes from having that console. You know, when I really think about it, it's almost like Xbox has finally achieved their dream of the all-in-one console. Remember Xbox One? They were talking about the all-in-one console. You can watch your TV, you can do all this stuff in an entertainment system. They didn't call it a console, they called it an entertainment system. Good old Don Matrick. Ugh. It is basically an entertainment system now. They're just not locking. It's just an all-in-one entertainment system. They're just not locking the games to that system. They're letting the games be sold elsewhere to maximize revenue potential. And it is a little disappointing, you know, it is. Because you like to see the console that, you know, you love. I love all the consoles. I love when PlayStation gets a banger. I love when Xbox gets a banger. I love when Nintendo gets a banger. So I love to see an Xbox get a banger that makes people want to go get the console, get excited about being an Xbox player. When a new Sony game comes out that's big, like God of War or something, I always get excited, and I always like watching other people play those as well. But it's just for them to grow, really, and it doesn't really hurt anybody, to be honest. The Xbox games being everywhere, this is like the move towards the future, right? Xbox is working towards a consolidation of a mobile Xbox platform that you can do anywhere. You can play Xbox basically anywhere. So that's their big move. They want people to be able to connect to the Xbox ecosystem through Game Pass. That's what they want you to do. They want you to pay the money for the Game Pass. But having those games on other consoles like PlayStation and Switch, where they're not going to be able to probably put Game Pass, I doubt, because I doubt, you know, they would allow a rival platform to put their ecosystem into their ecosystem aside from publishing games. That's it. So, interesting interview from Phil Spencer with Destin Legarie. Definitely check out the main video. Link will be down below. What do you guys think of Xbox's push for multi-platform? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching.